Welcome viewers, welcome to circa 2008 Silverstone in Northamptonshire. We're on the Legacy circuit in iRacing platform, and we're throwing some TCRs around the circuit for what is the championship finale, the season finale of the Tanso Racing Group TCR Championship. My name's Rob Sutherland. We're joined by Rob Jackson as well. Welcome, Rob.
Good evening, Rob. How are we doing today?
All good, mate. All good. And we've joined the session. We started the broadcast at the very start of qualification. So we've got cars that are on their way out on their out lap at the moment, before they set their flying lap. We're looking at about 2 minutes, 3 maybe, or even a 1:59 if we're really, really quick. So we should see some good laps in a couple of minutes, hopefully. And yes, so this is the championship finale, and we haven't got the points to put up on the screen, I'm afraid. But just to give a quick recap, we're looking at Neil Stevenson, 44 points behind Craig Waters, and then Derek Crowther and John Brown are 17 points away from each other for 4th and 5th, and then Nick Clibben's 22 points behind as well. So if you look at the timing tower, and are we showing this flash screen? Yeah, if we look at the timing tower, we can just see those names. Keep an eye on those names throughout the quali, and we're just going to see where they're going to start and how they're going to race throughout this evening's races. 4 mats, 3 flying laps in quali. They've got to be done within 10 minutes. And then we've got a 20-minute heat 1 and a 20-minute full reverse grid, because I've got 12 here today, full reverse grid final race.
Yeah. Well, once the start setting some actual lap times, the timing tower will then start displaying them all as we just flick over to Neil as he's near 3/4 of the way through his lap. So it looks like he could be the first person across the line to set the benchmark time for the rest of them.
And we're looking at the moment at Daniel Wareham, who's made a return, and Neil Stevenson looks like he's just coming through. I think that's into the Brooklands complex. I wonder who's setting the purples at the moment. Nick Clibben. Nick Clibben has been lightning, absolutely lightning in practice sessions, and we're going to look to see how he does. Well, he transfers that into quali. And this is individual quali, so you won't see other cars on the screen. They're just out there doing it for themselves. So they've got 3 laps to sort the tyres out, bring them up, and it's all fixed setup. All cars are the same. So it's all about driver skill and how they go around setting their tyres up for the first time lap. I think we've got one in, haven't we?
Yeah, that's right. As I said, Neil is the first one across the timing line with it was a 2:01.33, but then Nick Clibbens goes quicker with a 2 minutes, 0.572 seconds, which is a good 0.6 quicker there than John Brown, who's managed to put it on second at the moment.
I think we've got a debutant in the series today, which is Eugene Webber, who is the car number 8. He's in 5th position, and he's just set a 2:03.6 on his lap. There you go, nice little sky blue livery. And we're just looking at Craig Waters, who's just set a 2:01.42. These times will come down quite a bit, I should think. And Derek Crowther just sets a 2:01.98.
And Yuri Van Ass as well, he's just finished with a 2:04.09. So yeah, like I say, you get them tyres up to temperature and hopefully drop his times just that little bit.
So Yuri's rejoined us after a good outing in the last round at Summit Point Raceway, and it looks like we've Daniel Werams and Ryan Dudley here joined as well. So welcome back those guys. We've still got a few waiting for a lap. Dan Moll's not even on an out lap yet, which is entirely predictable. Dan, who's had unfortunate hardware failure last week in race 1, it means he couldn't do race 2. He does like to start from the pits and do a back to front in his heat races. So we should be able to see no laps set from Dan. We're just waiting for a couple more cars to set a lap.
Yeah, Daniel Wareham now is just coming up to the start-finish line. So we'll see what lap he sets. Where he sets in.
That's the old pits out of Woodcote in the Cops, where you will be able to see people passing today. This is an F1. And up to the Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel complex with the world's windiest grandstand from memory.
It is quite windy up there. I sat up there once for a World Endurance Championship race, and yeah, he has certainly got the draft.
I did a C1 race up there. We broke in C1 24-hour and broke into the stand, and that was when you see the stand moving and you're the only one in it. You're pretty scary. It's not nice.
No.
Right, so now we're down the hangar straight, faster section of the track, and it'll just be a bit of trail braking into Stowe, which is a decreasing radius late apex corner. And we should be able to see some fun moves and positioning the cars into that. And out of Stowe, we're just coming up to Vale now, which is the right-left. And no new laps at the moment. Well, Nick Clibben's just gone under 2 minutes with a 1:59.99. That's as close as under 2 minutes as you can get. So he's set provisionally pole position, continuing his form from practice. And John Brown just a couple of seconds slower than him with a 2:01.44. You see the red and black machine of Daniel Wareham now, just coming through into Farm Straight into Bridge. And into Priory now, and the Brooklands complex.
Just jumped to Fraser, who's just crossing the start-finish line now, managed to gain one position up to 6th.
So Fraser Garrity, that's the round 7 feature race winner, taking his first win of the season, and congratulations to him for that. So he's smack firmly bang in the middle of the group. The Insignia Racing car, who I think have gained another driver today.
Yeah, during practice we saw another member. He's now donned that livery on his car as well, hasn't he?
Oh, we'll keep that for the race, I think. Unveil that to yourself. I think Nick Clibben's done his final quali lap. He's in the pits, and this is going to change his tyres and get back out again. And Daniel Wareham's up to second at Shield, the 2:1.05. Where's he been hiding that? So that's his best quali to date, I think. And Neil Stevenson up into third. So just keep an eye on the gap between Neil and Craig. So they're the ones fighting for the championship.
And Craig there just crosses the line after his final attempt and doesn't actually improve his time.
So he's going to be on the third row along with Derek Crowther. There's no improvement from Derek in the Insignia machine as well. Bit of an Insignia championship at the minute.
Derek there just manages to lift himself up one more position.
Just swapping with Craig. So they're still on the third row, just in different sides of the grid now. And we're just going to see a look at Yuri Van As. Looks like, is he going to improve? Doesn't look like it. He's done his third. We're just waiting for Fraser Garrity, JT Johnson and Ryan Dudley. Ryan Dudley's actually not set a lap at the moment, so he might be at the back of the grid.
Yeah, Fraser looks like he's the next one across the start-finish line now to see if he can improve his starting position from 7th.
I can see plenty of greens on the board. Fraser Garrity goes. I feel like a game show host must say that. Looks like he stayed in 7th position. That's the final quali. That's the final quali, isn't it? That's
Do you know what? Was watching that and it ran out of time. So yep.
Yeah. Right. So we're going to find the grid order, I think, and then we're going to find out who's on grid.
Yep. The grid's up now on the screen, Rob.
Right. So first position, quali first, Nick Clibbens. Second position, a PB so far, Daniel Wareham. Third is Neil Stevenson. Fourth, John Brown. Fifth, Derek Crowther. 6th is Craig Waters. 7th is Fraser Garrity. 8th is Eugene Webber. 9th, Yuri Van As. 10th position, JT Johnson. A no qualifier for Dan Mould. He's in 11th. And bringing up the rear, Ryan Dudley. So, someone stuck a bridge in the way. It's not very useful. But probably not a lot we can do about that in a minute. We're just waiting for a couple of cars to join the grid now. Once all cars join the grid, we'll get our start procedure underway.
Yeah, just as we can see there, Dan Mould has joined the grid. He's there tucked himself at the back. So I think he is going for a last to first challenge, isn't he?
We will get, pretty standard or almost last, penultimate last to first. We will get all of these Insignia cars mixed up, no doubt, because they're pretty much, it's pretty much a Connect 4 on the start finish, I think. Just waiting for Eugene and Yuri now. So 20 minutes, should be about 10 laps maybe.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, 2-minute laps. Then yeah, you just like you said about 10 laps. That should do it. So
and if they get through the Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel Complex unharmed, we'll see some really good towing down Hanger Straight, I should think. So all cars are on the grid. You can see the orange and white machine of Yuri Van Ast at the back. And
the lights have just come up now, Rob. So 4, 3, 2, 1. And we had a jump start there and they're all off.
Yeah, I think I saw a jump start from Daniel Wareham. He's shoved it on the brakes and got himself out of the way. Nick Clibbins looks like he's off cleanly. And the Ignium car of Stevenson and Brown are alongside. Coming into Cops for the first time. It looks like it's 3 Insignia cars, 3 wide at the back with those guys, as they look pretty much like a flying V formation. And they go into the complex now. I think we're looking at Prowler and Fraser just alongside. Just checks him up. Tucks back in. No contact, please, chaps. Just a little bit of contact there on Derek Crowther. Doesn't look like he's stuck it in the wall. And
it was actually a damn mould that got tapped there from the rear.
It's already starting to get these guys confused already. So just a little bit of an unloading on Dan Slid, and he will legitimately do a last to first challenge now. As we're looking on the straight, and we're looking at Fraser Garrity 3 wide now. As we're looking at Fraser and Ryan Dudley, who's come up +5 just in the first few corners. That's a fantastic effort from him. Just takes the outside line, turns in a bit early, bit of damage on Fraser's car, and Derek just slips through on the inside. But then it's going to become the outside for Vale. And this is a bit of a deceleration zone trying to get through this corner. And, he's going to get it done. Looks like Fraser's just yielded to Derek Crowther. And that's our 6th position. And looking further back, looks like JT Johnson's just getting caught by Dan Mould now. That should be a little bit of a textbook. As Dan goes on the outside of Club, down towards Abbey, which is a corner I can't stand because it's far too tight. Just a bit of a rotation on the brakes now. JT Johnson's dropped back, and Eugene Webber, who we didn't see, has dropped back down to 12th. In fact, sorry, Daniel Wareham's dropped back down to 11th, and Eugene Webber's just off the back of the grid at the moment, just having a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah, of course, like I said, Daniel's dropped right back with that little jump start that he had, so he no doubt will have a flag penalty to come in and serve in the pits.
Yep, and I think if we look to the front, we can probably see John Brown, who's in a bit of a freeway at the moment with Neil Stevenson just up behind him. So the championship battle, Stevenson and Craig Waters, is reversed currently. So we'll look to see what happens there. Craig's in a new livery today, and I'm not at all going to get that confused with Daniel Wareham. There's the SRL machine. It's a lovely little bit of spec mapping and white wheels. We can just see ahead Neil Stevenson just trying to line up John Brown. With a change of direction. The Ignium machine lines up behind the Tango Racing machine. As we go on board now with Neil, and we can just see Clibbins ahead in a pretty pressure-free race at the minute. And we can see the TAF on the back of the Tango Racing machine. John Brown. Looks like they're just a little bit too far away at the minute to do anything, but hopefully Neil will be looking just to get pulled along a little bit, just to create the grab. Bit of a wide entry there from John Brown. That's allowed Neil to close up on the outside. I think Neil's just going to lift
on that there, Rob. I think both Nick and John, they both must have locked the front wheels or locked the back wheels anyway, because there's a couple of little puffs of smoke from both the cars. Whereas Neil, he seems to have more balance and got the car through smoother.
Yeah, a little bit of ABS takes you onwards a little bit, and line of stern at the minute as we're looking at the Ignium car of Neil Stevenson on board, looking ahead to John Brown. Currently this is a fight for second, as Will gives us a little bit close to a font that I've not seen since the 90s, when we used to run around in the playground and slap people with that Tango advert. Oh, horrible memories.
You know, when you've been tangoed.
Yeah, one of my days. Barbaric. We've not mentioned that Yuri Van Ast is up into 5th actually, +4 position. He's our joint highest climber along with Ryan Dudley. He's an 8th at the moment. And just looking at any other battles on the grid. So this is a back. He might be the cork in the bottle because the Insignia machines are catching. And that's the Derek Crowther and Fraser Garrity machine. Yuri goes defensive in the Cops. Let's see if they can line him up on exit. There we go. So they're going to be side by side now as they go into Maggots and Beckett's. Will Fraser look to get it done as well?
Yep, Fraser's just gone around the outside too, and Yuri must think he's seeing triple there, not double, because now, right behind him, he's got Dan Mould in the other Insignia machine.
It's a brilliant set of corners in the TCR. And you can see the exit there that Dan Mould's got out of Chapel onto the Hangar Straight. And I think he's just had to check up. Just going alongside now and looking behind Ryan Dudley. He'll be loving this. He's in Dan's aero now. As they go into Stowe. Just chops the nose a little bit off Yuri. You just gets on the brakes, and that's just allowed the back end of the car to slide. +1 for Mr. Dudley. And fortunately for Yuri, he's not injured. He's not damaged the car. And we can just all the way to the front for another Insignia battle. And we've been seeing this quite a lot this season so far for the previous 8 rounds. Crowther and Fraser Geraghty are more often than not on a round circuit together. I don't think, have they had an accident yet? Have they taken each other off teammate style? I think they might have. I think Watkins Glen springs to mind. Something
yeah, there's a bit of team. Yeah, just say
we'll call it team bonding, shall we?
That's the one, team bonding.
Yeah, bit of team bonding. If we look back on Crowther's car over the orange boiler towards Fraser and Dan Mould, and Ryan Dudley just dropped back a little bit. I think we've got a fight with John Brown ahead and Neil Stevenson. They're looking awfully close.
Let's just jump forward to them there then.
Very arty. There we go. So we can see, actually, we must have missed that, but Stevenson's got past John Brown. And Craig Waters is lining Stevenson. Sorry, he's lining Brown up for cops.
Of course, Craig, he'll want to stay as close to Neil as possible to minimise that points differential between the finishing positions.
And there's 44 points at the moment, so yeah, you're absolutely right. Not got many on today, so there won't be a big spread of points, I don't think. But you don't really want to lose any. You don't want to put yourself in a position because you never know. Second race DNF may cause a problem. And just a little bit of a gap between them. It looks pretty even, about half a second gap between second, third, and fourth. And then 4 point something seconds back to Derek Crowther.
As you see there, Dan pulls to the outside on Fraser and manages to go right round the outside into Stowe corner.
So it doesn't look like he's scared him off the apex, but he is a very late apex there. Got two bunches of 3 at the moment, just trying to work their way forward a little bit. The gap's just opening up a little bit. And Craig Waters, his last lap was a 201.4. Crowther's last lap was 201.6. It's just opening up a little bit. John Brown was corking the bottle. He had a 202.47. And you can see Dan just trying to move his way forward. Hopefully, the Crowther and Geraghty machine will just use Dan's toe a little bit to pull him along.
Yeah, that's right. You got to be sensible, haven't you? And maybe let Dan go past him, and then use his toe to close the gap in front towards Craig.
So Dan's pretty much taken the place of Callum Reed-Garden, who we saw last race. It looks like Dan just sort of yielded, and Crowther's just having a little bit of a play with him. And there's a bit of an Insignia team bonding session going on here. It just scares Crowther off the apex. Mould still got the inside line out of Luffield. And through Woodcote, let's see how much they cut. Right, all good within the white lines. And they've got us a little bit of a show here, the Insignia boys.
Dan there's just set the fastest lap of the race with a 2 minutes .76.
And just a tenth faster than Nick Clibbins, that?
Yeah, Nick had also just before Dan crossed the line had set the fastest lap, which of course he's now pulled out a now 2.3 second gap in front of Neil. And
I think Eugene Webber's had a bit of a problem. Might have given up for the race.
Yeah, he's currently not on track. He's in pit somewhere.
So we're 4 laps into what we expect to be a 10 lap race. Currently we're looking at Nick Clibbins in first position, Stevenson second, Brown third, Waters fourth, and that will close the championship gap up just a little bit between Stevenson and Waters. And it'll be a full reverse in the second race, which will be in about 10 minutes time, I should think. And I've had Craig follow me around here. It's pretty scary when he's in your mirrors. And that I think John Brown's probably quite used to it. He's been up in this sticky end for quite a bit this season. And we'll be enjoying the pressure, I should imagine. And we're just looking back because we can see John Brown, Derek Crowther. So these guys are fighting for 4th position. They're pretty close. That's going to be a significant chop of points in Mr. Brown's favour, I should think. So that'll be good for Mr. Brown, Tango Machine.
I seem to remember one race we did here in one league, Rob, where I was defending with all my might, and there's a couple of the SRL boys behind me, and I think coming up to the final few corners, you even caught me and got past me too.
I remember being murdered by Craig Orders in Stowe, or maybe I murdered Craig Orders. Actually, it's a bit of a blurry memory. It looks like Craig's just chopped back a little bit. Maybe he just cooked his tyres a little bit coming out of Luffield, and it's just affected him in Stowe. Yeah, he's just dropping off the back of John Brown now. But that won't be good for Craig, because John is obviously in Neil Stevenson's toe as they go up a hanger. Actually, well, saying that, actually, I think Craig's particularly strong through the Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel complex. So looks like he's going to close us up and get him into the toe again, because he is under a second. And looking back, looks like Dan Mould's chopped a second out of Craig in the last couple of laps, so he looks like he's bridging the groups.
Yeah, he's a good 1.8 seconds now in front, isn't he, of his teammate Derek.
I think Fraser he does like a wide line into there. He's quite good going through that corner, but it looks like he's missed it. It looks like he's missed his braking point all the time. As we go on board now, Fraser Garrity in the Signy Racing Machine, and into and out of Vale they go. And what they would be joining, what is the new start finish straight. It might look a little bit different. There's a big pit garage there. And up into Abbey. Sharp on the brakes, use a bit of curb on entry, mind the red bit, and then open up on the right. And then down under Farm straight under the bridge. And this is a corner where you can really cook your front tyres. Coming up now into Priory. And into Brooklands to join the National Circuit on the right. This is all spectator area now, pretty much. Into Priory, I think. From memory, I think I stood up there at the start of the year. So Fraser Garrity comes out of Luffield to complete what will be his 6th lap. He started 7th. Looks like the line, it's pretty line astern. Up the front still, Clibbin still out in the lead by 2.6 seconds. Stevenson 2nd, Brown is 3rd, Walters is 4th, and Dan Mould in 5th. The gap's now to 2.9 seconds for Dan. And Crowther's in 6th, Garrity 7th, and Dudley is in 8th, +4 for Dudley. And Yuri Van Ass is currently in 9th, with JT Johnson 10th. And there's not a lot of fighting going off at the back. And Daniel Wareham, I don't know if Daniel's still circulating, is he?
Yeah,
2.3 last lap.
He's still circulating, so we. I think with that penalty, it didn't help him at all, did it? The jump start. But on the flip side, for the main feature race, he will be on the front row, won't he?
Yep, pretty much, and hopefully he won't jump start this one, I should imagine. Yeah, maybe he'll have to learn. Maybe he did the thing where he put it in gear and tried to hold it on the brakes.
Yeah, I've done that once before myself.
Yeah. It's good for him to move off the racing line at the start. It's not nice trying to race people when you've got a black flag hanging over your head. Because sometimes when stuff happens, you look a little bit silly. But Daniel looks like he understood what was going on and just tried not to get in anyone's way. It would have been a shame to affect the championship outcome by someone who has a black flag. So fair play, Mr. Daniel. Hopefully he'll be able to start on the grid and try to make amends for it, because he was very quick and quali. So back to Brooklands, we can see the Neil Stevenson car and the John Brown car, line of stern still, no position change there. The gap now to 5th, and Dan Mould is down to 2 seconds.
Yeah, Dan is lapping a second quicker than Craig as well, so if he stays at this pace difference, then another 2 laps, so it could be a last lap attack on them.
And I think that may look to cost Craig, as he just completely misses cops and nopes out and takes the tarmac. And that might cost him a few points for the championship, so you might not like that. We see a nice little four-wheel slide going into Maggots. These are basically the same sort of corner, but they just get tighter and tighter and tighter. And you want to get a really good run out of Chapel on the hanger straight. And from memory, they've made a change to the new Silverstone layout and just put some really harsh off tracks on now. So enjoy it while it lasts, because this circuit's one of the best for that complex, because the new one's just a little bit muted.
So just go to the closest battle on track. It's still between Fraser and Derek. So I wonder if they've got magnets in the front bumpers and the rear bumpers of these two.
Insignia branded magnets for Fraser and Derek, as they're pretty much giving us a party piece around Silverstone today. Formation flying. We saw the flying V at the start, and then I think we saw Fraser just tap Dan Mould as well at the start. So looked good for a minute, and then it really didn't look very good. But it's looking to stabilise itself for these guys now. Good points for them. I think Derek would prefer to beat John Brown, but I think anyone on this grid would prefer to beat anyone, to be fair with you. And we can see Dan Mould fully engaged now with Craig Waters. And I think we could probably go on board with Dan, just to see how he lines up the SRL machine. And then also, we can have a little look at Craig's paint job. Has he still got, yep, he's still got the Gene Simmons on the back with a toe strap. So come out to Luffield. Much better exit from Dan Mould. And he will be lining them up. Will he take the inside in the cops?
He shows, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he holds Craig to the outside to open the corner up for himself. And that's the job done, it looks like. And you can see now from Craig's machine, we can just see the difference in how these guys take the Maggots-Beckett's complex. Bit of a flick of the brake just to line himself up there. Such a good line through that complex. And you can see just as they tighten up, just wait. Looks like a bit too much lock from Craig. And that's not going to help his fronts, just a bit too quick into that corner. And that's as a result. Dan's shot off, he's 0.68, and he did set a 2:00.29 on the last lap, so that's the fastest lap for Dan.
Yeah,
the race, 0.4 quicker than Nick.
He is, yep. It's 0.4 seconds quicker than Nick. Of course, being in the tow with Craig will help him dramatically, really, won't it?
Nice. So we're going to see how fast he catches John Brown, Neil Stevenson, and he might just get himself involved in this fight, because they are closer than they have been the last couple of laps. As they just exit that corner now, fly down into, I think, Abbey. And just line himself up. The gap's now just down to 1.0 seconds. Craig's just chopped off the back now. Just a 6-second back gap between Craig and Garrity. And this is just eroding a few points for the championship for Craig Waters and the green SRL machine. Or the red SRL machine with the green logo. It'll always be the green SRL machine. So, the leader of the race, Nick Clibbins, Simtech Racing, coming out of the last corner. Will we get the white flag this time round?
Yep, we have got the white flag being waved there by Barney.
So, last lap, Nick Clibbins, 3.91 seconds ahead of Neil Stevenson in second place. Just comes through Cops, start his last lap. And this has been a pretty faultless drive from Nick Clibbins. Had a fantastic start off the line, taking advantage of Daniel Werman's jump starts. You just see him nice and does cut Maggots quite a bit there. And just flinging himself into Beckett's now. And it's been a pretty quiet drive from Nick, which is probably a bonus, because he's had some pretty hectic drives this season.
Yeah, sometimes you just need a nice, calm, smooth race where you're not under pressure from behind, you're not putting pressure on anyone in front, and you can just get into the rhythm, do some hot laps, and pull away and gain another podium finish. And
this will significantly bring Nick closer to Derek Crowther for the fourth position in the championship, I think. So this might not be a good race for Derek, who's sat down in 7th position at the moment. And I'm just looking at Ryan Dudley, 7th position, just off the back a little bit still. I think we've got, well, we can discount Derek Crowther and Fraser Garrity because they're flying in formation. We can see that Dan Mould as predicted, is up behind John Brown. So this could be the last lap drama we're looking for. And just coming down, John goes defensive, but that just means that Dan will have the outside and then the inside in the Priory. And I think if we go back to the start, we should see Nick Clibbens pretty close to the finish now as he comes into Brooklands, and we can just see at the back that Dan Mould has got that move done. So that was a bit of a checkmate by Dan Mould to get himself +8 and into third position. And I still don't think he's going to get to Neil Stevenson, because out of the last corner, Nick Clibbens crosses the finish line, a little bit of a waggle, takes the checkered from Barney. Second position goes to Neil Stevenson, and third position is Dan Mould, followed very closely by John Brown fourth. Craig Waters finishes in fifth. Sixth and seventh goes to Geraghty and Crowther. And Dudley just coming out of Luffield now. He will take, hopefully, 8th position. Nothing goes wrong. And first of the stragglers, Daniel Warren, who we saw have the drive-through position. The drive-through at the start. He will be on the second row for the reverse grid.
Yeah, we've obviously missed it, because last time we looked at Daniel, he was in 11th position, but he's managed to get past Yuri and JT to finish in 9th.
And we can just see Yuri in the orange machine behind. He finishes in 10th position. And then the last of the finishers, or the last of the runners, sorry, is JT Johnson just coming through Luffield now. And he will take the 11th position. So that's the end of race number 1. And the big talking point is, if Dan Mould didn't have that bit of contact at the start, would he have got second?
Yes, I think he would have. He easily has the pace, doesn't he, to get past everyone. So yeah, I think he easily would have got the second position.
Right, so we'll be able to see that in the reverse grid. So what we're going to do for the reverse grid is we're just going to cut to a holding screen for a bit, take a few minutes break to give ourselves a little bit of nourishment, and then we shall be back for the finale, the final race of the Tanso Racing Group TCR Championship. So hopefully we'll see you in a minute. Welcome back, viewers. We're just coming to the end of the warm-up for the feature race, and just got a couple of things to mention. There have been some new TCRs released. There's been our Hyundai and a Civic, and I don't know if I'm really old, but a lot of people are more happy with the Hyundai than the Civic. But as is quite a good thing competition-wise, Tanso have decided to stick with the Audi for this last race. No one likes rules to be changed in the middle of the championship, so that's good. And we're just going to go to the grid now. And I've not actually tried the new cars yet, Rob.
No, I've got them both. I've tried them both. I got to admit, I prefer the look of the Hyundai, but I prefer the sound of the Civic. So
everyone loves a bit of VTEC, yo.
Yep. So let's just quickly run through the leaderboard.
Reverse grid.
Yep, reverse grid.
Right, I'll do that quickly while you grab a camera shot. So Eugene Webber, I think he's made it back on. If not, then he's in first position, or he may not be. JT Johnson is in second. The second row is Ewan Van Ass and Daniel Wareham. Third row, Ryan Dudley, Derek Crowther. Fifth row is Fraser Geraghty, Craig Walters. Sixth row, John Brown, Dan Mould. And in 11th position is Neil Stevenson, and bringing up the rear is Nick Clibbins, doing his own back to first for the feature race. This is the last race for the Tanso Racing Group TCR Championship, so hopefully we'll make it a good one. And I think it might go the duration of the start because we don't have Eugene on the server. And he did send a little message to say he had an internet outage, so I hope he gets that sorted.
The lights are on there now, Rob, and they are go. Sorry.
Green flag, no, that's fine. So we can see JT Johnson just pulling away from the start-finish straight, and Ewan Van Ass immediately goes in the first position, lined up behind by Daniel Wareham in the red machine. And there is, I think, Ryan Dudley just shown his nose as well. He's got past JT Johnson, but Daniel Wareham just right up behind Ewan Van Ass. And it's all the new guys at the front, I think, followed by a train of Insignia and Craig Walters. Craig Walters had a fantastic start, +2 up in 6th position, and he'll look to keep ahead of Neil Stevenson. And just as they go for the Maggots Beckett's for the first time, you can see it's just...
With Neil, that's his went off track and he's jumped to pits, so I'm just going to fly back and see the replay as to see what actually happened there with Neil.
So that's huge implications for the championship battle.
Yep. So
we have a three-way. We have a three wide at the start, and a bit of a fantastic braking manoeuvre there for Derek Crowther. Just jumped a couple of positions. Ewan Van Ass slid out again on the brakes, just a little bit loose for him. And the brake bias is just back a little bit too far. And Daniel Wareham currently in the lead and just getting shown the inside by Derek Crowther. We see Daniel's got a fair bit of pace around here, so he should be able to sort himself out, I think. Do we have that replay, sir?
Yep, I'll just go back to it now.
So Neil Stevenson, the Insignia machine in the middle, goes 3 wide, just touches Clibbins, and then... Well, that's a bit of a shame, bit of a reaction. I don't know if there was a suspension failure there, but he hit Nick Clibbins on the right and then went wildly left and went into JT Johnson. That's an unfortunate accident for Neil, and I think that might just put to bed his championship aspirations. You can just see there, just takes a lack of awareness there, and just hitting a couple of cars. So yeah, that's a very damaged car, and you can see the front wheel just wobbling around. So if we go back to live again,
yep,
you can just see.
We're back on the leader now, Daniel Wareham, who is under some pressure from Derek Crowther behind him.
And Insignia's 2-3 lockout at the moment with Derek and Fraser, who've not left each other's side all race. And Daniel survives another lap with pressure from Derek. And Ryan Dudley, just a fantastic 4th position at the moment with Craig Walters in his mirrors. You see Daniel Wareham just gone wide there. That's let Derek into the lead, or side by side now as they go into Maggots and Beckett's. Bit of a flash from Fraser behind just to try and get the attention of Daniel. And I think it's worked because he's missed the corner. And so is Ryan Dudley. He's just followed him. Please rejoin safely, Daniel. He has done. There's no drama. He will have a slow down to serve, so we might see him drop back a couple more positions. That was just a bit of a cock up from Daniel, and that just cost him a couple of positions. Past 9 o'clock. Well, let's say cock up.
Oh yeah, I think so. Don't see why not.
Right. So, on to lap number 2 still. As they go round Stowe, and we can just see the Insignia guys lining each other up. Craig waiting behind. And this is for the lead now. So Insignia just coming to a bit of a late season form in Tanso TCR Championship. And these guys we're looking at here both had a race win apiece. And they look to maybe they might want to work together because Craig is catching them pretty quick.
Yeah, Craig's going to try and stick behind him there as he's staying the toe. And of course where he's sat at the moment, he's quite happily, comfortably in the toe. But as you see, Derek and Fraser there actually get racing with each other.
And Craig Ward's just down the inside now. Looks like he's got the move done from Fraser. And now he's just up behind Craig. Is he going to send it? Maybe he decides not to. Just decides to sit behind. And maybe he's just going to line him up outside Luffield. Looks like Clibbins has made his way back up now. And he will be applying pressure. So the last to first for Nick Clibbins currently is as we're on board with the Simtech race machine. As they come through Luffield, and we can see now the first three positions. Insignia, SRL Insignia. And this just shows on the inside Craig Waters as they flick into cops. This is just a little bit more settled from Nick Clibbins there. Derek Crowther just goes a little bit wide. We're going to go side by side in the maggots. Fraser Garrity is just going to be looking there for a bit of an opportunist. We saw someone slide wide doing this line last time. And just Crowther's much better pitching him, but he does run wide. Just goes, you can see, whoa, it goes off-road, and that's a bit of a hop up and down from him. And I think that's just going to yield him to Dan Mould. And yeah, another Maggots and Beckett's mistake. Second lap in a row, and that's cost this time Derek Crowther.
Yeah, that's right. He's lost 3 positions there with that one little error.
Right, so up the hanger straight we go. Dan Mould in front of Derek Crowther, just getting to lock. He's going to want to keep as close as he can to Nick Clibbins because they're on pretty similar pace, these two guys, as they come through the back. And Fraser Garrity now showing himself on the outside of Craig Waters.
And Craig there going deep into the corner in defensive mode there.
And that's proper fag packet racing. That no room, just a little bit of room given, cigarette paper room. And we can see that Nick Clibbins now has stunned a bit of pressure from Dan Mould. Dan shows it on the inside. Is he going to send on the brakes? Looks like he is. Nwabi. Clibbins just tries to hold the inside line. Falls down on the outside as they go down under bridge. And no gain from Dan Mould. And a nice little flick there as he goes into Brooklands. Is he going to try it on the brakes? Nick Clibbins looks like he's missed the apex, and Dan Mould's now up on the inside. Yeah, so that becomes the outside for Luffield.
I think with Dan there just poking his nose out there, just gave Nick that little... I'm trying to explain it here, but basically Dan showed himself, and Nick must have seen it in his mirrors, and then, like I said, then missed the apex because of it.
He hasn't just lost the position just yet. He just needs to hold Dan maybe out into cops. So we'll go side by side. Dan just tucks it in behind. No contact yet. This is very clean racing so far between these two guys. As Craig Walters, for not the first time today, has gone wide outside of cops. This is getting under a lot more pressure now from Fraser Garrity in the battle of the lead. And we've got little fights between first, second, third and fourth now. So this is a typical Tanso reverse grid. And you can just see Garrity now. This is very much Nick Clibbins is in his toe as they come up to Stowe. And I think we've had Yuri Vanas retire as well. I think I missed that. Did he have an accident? We've seen him lock up and spin the car a few times.
Yeah, he's. We can jump back to see a replay of what exactly happened with him. So if we just do that now.
So yeah, I think he just missed a corner and had a little bit of crash.
Yeah.
Both wheels are off his wagon.
And one. Oh, hang on. Let's go back to TV cameras.
And the TV cameras are showing us the insignia cards. It looks like Nick Clibbins has just got past Fraser. And Dan Mould's just trying to do the same thing now as he dashes left and he dashes right. And there's still no overlap, but the late send. Fantastic racecraft then from Dan Mould. And he's just got that move done. Is he going to show Fraser the outside? Fraser's got a hell of a run out of that corner. And as in race 1, we've got 3 insignia cars again. Line Stern.
It's insignia sandwich.
Aye. And we can see Ryan Dudley in 6th position, just bringing up the rear at the moment. Derek Crowther has recovered. He has obviously dropped 1 position to Dan Mould, but he's still on the back of the pack. So there's a good little fight here. Clibbins is... What have I missed?
No, I was just going to say there, Ryan, he's tucked up behind Derek in the toe, so he's benefiting from them three being in front of him. So as long as he can stay in the toe, he'll stay up there with them, really, won't he?
And another benefit now is Clibbins, who has much better cops entry, and he's just right up behind Craig Waters now. All Craig needs to do is finish, and he's got it. In fact, I think, to be fair, if he doesn't finish, he might have it as well, to be fair. So he'll want no dramas. He might just want to race as well. These guys do like their racing.
I can imagine as well with Craig, he'll like to finish the last race of the season with a win, and which will also give him a championship. So it'll be a nice little end to the season for him.
Aye, it'd be nice and fitting for Craig Waters in the SRL machine. You can just see the Clibbins just trying to line him up. We have seen Craig struggle a little bit on entry some of these corners, and I'm just looking back because I think Dan Mould might be trying to line Clibbins up now. There is 0.2 between first and third.
Yeah, like I said, Dan there all over the back of Nick.
Like a Balfour Moss as they come out of Abbey, I think that is. Still with the Santander paint on the floor, circa 2008. And Dan Mould just, will he go as aggressive as he did to Fraser? He is on the inside. Clibbins lets him have the room. I think Clibbins knows that he can hold that outside line and just hold the exit in this corner as they go under bridge. And that's another attempt from Dan. That hasn't paid off. And will he try and line him up now? We've seen it happen. We've seen him try to do it in Brooklands. And we've seen him try and do it in Luffield. Maybe just try and get an exit out of this. Further back. There's no real fights further back. Garrity's still behind Dan. As soon as there's any opportunity for a bit of carnage, he can take advantage of. But over the lap, over the start finish, I go. This is start number 6 for them. And it's still pretty much the same order as it was the last lap.
As we look there as well, Nick has gained 10 positions from the start, so he is definitely on for a last to first challenge here, isn't he?
Man, it looks first as well, so I think he's just going to get the room for that. Nope, another little... there we go. That's the third time we've seen that today. Please rejoin safely, Nick. He'll have a big slowdown, so he will have to serve that in hangar. And maybe he's going to hopefully try and sort of make that as slow as possible and then tuck him behind and get re-engaged into this fight again. But that's unfortunate. I think that's the third time we've seen that happen in that same set of corners. And now we're 3 wide for the lead. It looks like the lead's gone to Dan Mould. And
that's
I
right.
think...
Unluckily there, Nick, is with having to take that slow down again. With Dan, Fraser and Craig all being quite close, he's dropped from first right down to fourth.
And we've got a spicy little 4-way now. Looks like there's a bit of a slide on from Garrity there. I don't know if there's a bit of contact with Craig or not, but Dan's just etching his way out, a little better entry, and this is a bit racy for Fraser. We did say he was trying to wait for the carnage, and it looks like he's taking advantage because he's back in the second again, and Craig's just going to try and line him up, maybe for the exit out of this little chicane. Dan Mould misses it. That may be a slowdown for him as he tucks inside and lifts. Fraser Garrity now, I think that's our third lead of this lap. Fraser Garrity, the Insignia Racing machine, is in the lead. Craig Waters second, Clibbins third. Looks like Derek Crowther has successfully made his way in fourth. And looks like he's going to get hard sent by Dan Mould. Looks like that's happened. Yes, complete. And we have behind John Brown. We've not mentioned John Brown today. Well, this race. We had a fantastic first race with Daniel Wareham. And hopefully, if these guys keep fighting for the first 4 positions, we might have a 6-way or a 7-way, which would be nice for the final race of the Tanso Racing Group TCR Championship. My memory is playing well.
It's just looking at all the top 8 runners. They're all within 4 or 5 seconds of each other, so they all are staying quite close.
Exhibition stuff. We can just see another trip across the grass for Nick Clibbins, but this time it was at the aid of Craig Waters, who just had a bit of a slap on his side, and that just pushed Nick off. So that's unfortunate. That's another incident. There are 16 incidents before a drive-through. I don't think anyone's on it. The most incidents I can see at the moment is 5 from Derek Crowther, who we saw have a bit of an opening lap. drama. Big shoot on from that corner from Nick Clibbins. He completely misses that. Now this is a hell of a battle for, well, was the first fall. I think now it's second to fourth. Dan Maltz has checked out a little bit. And this is pretty good as reverse grids go, because it's changing every other lap, which is what we expect from a reverse grid. You see John Brown is engaged with Derek Crowther now for their fortnightly Brown and Crowther fight. I think this is probably the most popular pairing on the Tanso race grid, because they're always having a little bit of a fight. And the Tango Racing Machine is trying to see how well, that's a hell of a deceleration there from Daniel Wareham behind. He's closed up quite a bit as a result of that. There's fights all over the place, Rob.
Yeah, there certainly is. And they're all, you know, like I said, they're all within 3/4 of a second of each other as well. So we've got 5th, 6th and 7th all nicely tucked up. And then at the moment we've got 2nd, 3rd and 4th. As we see Dan just go past Craig into 2nd.
Gets it done before Cops, and we saw Nick Clibbins just run out on Luffield, I think, just touched the grass a little bit, and that did affect his bit back then, but it looks like he's had a fantastic little line through Cops. And as we see now, Walters and Mould go side by side, and we've seen this a few times. This tends not to end well. There's a little bit of racing room asked and given, but Nick Clibbins is just going to keep his eye out and see if there's any carnage through this set of corners. You just see the on board now, you can just see the lateral travel of these guys. Is Nick going to push himself 3 wide? Is that a good thing? As they go down hanger, significant overspeed from Clibbins, and that's really as a result of Craig's exit. And he's going to use the aero from Mould in the Stowe. And John Brown's entered the fray. And he will be significantly in Craig Walder's toe. Looks like Craig's really struggling with his tyres, but he runs wide, and Brown's just up the inside. It becomes the outside.
Yeah, so Craig's in a good position there, isn't he, to defend the inside.
Now, if we can just squeeze John Brown out and hold him off, which he's done, and it's all about putting the power down now, and we can just see that Craig's gets a pretty good exit, and Daniel Wareham's there, just looking over the shoulder. And this is the first 6. It's a fantastic fight. You can see actually that Neil Stevenson's rejoined the circuit, which is an advantage because you do get fast repairs in this series. I've just seen Derek Crowther quit. Have we seen that? Something happened to Derek. He's back in the pits.
He crashed. Let's just go back and see a replay.
So the start of his lap number 8, Derek Crowther in the Cops, flicks it in, slides a little bit on entry, and I think we completely missed that because he just touches the grass a little bit. You know what? I think he's probably called it.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to the start because we're looking at Fraser Garrity in the lead. Currently, we're looking at, I think there's going to be 2 laps left maybe. Was this white flag this time around maybe?
No, I think there is going to be another 2 laps because we've still got 3.5 minutes left. So,
and we ran 10 laps completed. Heat number 1, and this is 8 laps completed. So is Fraser going to be able to hold off Dan Mould and the other insignia machine? And then Nick Clibbins in 3rd, just spread out a little bit between these guys. And the Craig Walters, who's been pretty much in all the fights today. And that looks like the other 3, where John Brown's just lined himself up. I think Craig's running his tyres a little bit too much, I think. We saw this in the first race when he just over-rotated the front of the steering wheel out of one of the corners. And might be struggling for a little bit of grip.
Yeah, he seems to. His last lap was a 2:02.5, so he's a good second down on his fastest lap anyway.
I like the way he just held John Brown out for that corner there. We've seen him do that before. It's a fantastic little line in that corner. It just means that John actually can't get a run in or out. It's almost better actually if John just drops back a little bit more and tries to use the overspeed on exit to just give him a little bit of a tow up into the straight we're seeing now. But it's fully engaged. I think John's looking quite racy at the moment.
Yeah, he's you can smell blood there, can't he? You can see that he's closing the gap to Craig all the time.
And sometimes if you see a car in front overdriving, it just gives you, if you know you've got better grip than them, and you're looking after your tyres a little bit better. Just gives you that little bit of confidence. We're going to go over the line for lap number 9, and I think the gap is 0.28 seconds. Looks like Dan Mould's right up behind Fraser now. How many leaders we can have in this lap? That's the question. We've had 3 in one lap before. That's pretty good.
And yep, there we go. See Barney waving the white flag there now. So again, this is Dan just goes down the inside there.
So last lap of the last round of the Tanso TCR Championship, and Dan Mould goes into the lead on the last lap into Cops. Now to Cops, and Fraser Garrity, his teammates in the Insignia machine, yields it, but he's not going to give it up without a fight. And we can see Nick Clemens there in 3rd position. He's also not going to give it up without a fight. This is your podium. I'm just going to line up outside it into Hangar Straights. There's enough aero between them to pull each other along. And there's also very much a fight on for 4th position between Brown and Walters. Champion-elect Walters, as Neil Stevenson's had a bit of a struggle this race, and just Walters goes for the defensive into Stowe, but you can see there that Brown just gives him a little bit of a nudge. Wasn't quite enough room on exit, and Brown's looking hella racy at the moment.
Yeah, he knows now you've got half a lap to go, so if he wants to gain them extra few points for the championship, he needs to really push an attack and put Craig under some pressure to try and force an error.
Oh, you're going to see us send. You might have to focus on the first 3 battle, because that's still very much alive. In fact, saying that, I think I've seen... Well, Clibbins is still there. My timing tower says maybe the Clibbins has dropped off, but you can see visually he's very much behind Fraser Garrity, so the pressure's on now as we go into the Brookfield complex, the last complex of the last lap, the last race, championship. And we can see Dan Moll's currently in the lead, Insignia teammate behind. And Clibbins just looks like he's not going to get the gap closed.
No, it's unless Fraser had a drastic error there or a wheel disconnect, then that's it. He's secured 2nd position for this race.
So out of the last corner, flash of the lights in Sigma machine. Dan Mould takes the checkered flag, and also a little bit of a flash there for 2nd place Fraser Garrity. Another podium for Fraser, and Clibbins takes the 3rd. Looks like the Walters and Brown battle was static, and Craig managed to keep 4th. So that's, I think, the championship elect. I think that's pretty much job done for him provisionally. And John Brown finishing 5th. Daniel Wareham, fantastic 6th position from him. And Ryan Dudley, another new guy to the championship, he's in 7th. And we can just see what will be the 2nd place driver in the championship. Originally Neil Stevenson in his Insignia machine, who had a bit of a crash the opening lap. He's managed to get a new car, managed to get it fixed, rejoin the circuit, and he is just driving a parade lap now for his last lap. So that's a fantastic first race for Neil. 2nd race not amazing, but he'll be happy overall with his efforts. I think this is positions reversed from the last season of the TCR Championship. So nice for them to share it and have it one each. And they'll have a new t-shirt, I should imagine. But out of the last corner, Neil Stevenson into Luffield, just over the start-finish straight. I think he will be the last car to finish. There's Jason Johnson in 9th position, Derek Crowther, who we saw retire in 10th. That will have ramifications for his championship position. And Yuri Van As we saw crash earlier, and Eugene Webber had internet problems. So that's the end of the feature race. How do you think it went, Rob?
Yeah, it was interesting. There was battles all over the place, wasn't there? It was it was nice, close. There was chopping and changing up front. One lap we had 3 or 4 different leaders. So yeah, no, it was quite interesting this week.
3 different leaders on 1 lap. Fantastic effort from the guys, and they'll all be on the same voice chat together, having a laugh, fair bit of banter going around. Probably some congratulations from that man to Craig Waters, and well, this has been a fantastic championship.
Yeah, it's been good fun, hasn't it? I've really enjoyed it. We're doing the commentating and doing the broadcasting. It's it's made it interesting for us.
Right, we need to do some housekeeping, because this is obviously the end of one championship, but there is another from Tanso Race Group, and that's the Modi 5 Cup which is for Global MX5s, which is free content. So anyone can sign up to iRacing and be able to drive the MX5 at some circuits like, say, Silverstone, Legacy, which is another free content circuit. And that will be another fixed set up championship. Pretty much the same routine. Every couple of Fridays, there'll be a race. The first one is on the 7th of January. It's nice for them to let us all have Christmas off. And that will be at Nürburgring Short, which will be broadcast on T8 TV. You'll see a lot of familiar faces. There's been some test races that have been quite well attended and successful. So hopefully we'll be able to see some continue the trend of some good, clean racing. Plus a bit of drama. And Mr. Jackson, I haven't actually said happy birthday today. It's your birthday.
Yes, thank you very much, Rob. It's
Thank you for doing this on your birthday.
Yeah, no, it's all good fun, isn't it? It's yeah, thank you.
Well, I'll let you sign off this time, but have you got any closing thoughts? Drive of the day, perhaps?
I always go blank when you ask me this question. I think all of them, to be honest. It was some good close battles. They've all been here every round of the race, or the majority of drivers have been here for every round as well. And they put on some good shows. So I think this week I'm going to say everyone is the driver of the day in my eyes.
I don't think I'll be as fair as that. I think I'll hold out Dan Mould. He's had a few rounds of bad luck, some hardware failures, some accidents. It was just a fantastic patient race from him today to take that second, to take the final race win, and also a nod to Mr. Garrity as well. Another podium for him. So, as this is your birthday, I'll let you sign us out.
Which I've never done before, so my mind's just gone blank again. Yeah, I'll just like to say thank you all for watching, and we hope to see you all soon for the next series with the MX5. So it's a goodbye from me, and it's a goodbye from Rob.